Hello, my friends. That video preparation for the final exam that include all topics in the exam. Okay, let's start. The concept of production, or one more step further, concept of profit. We already know the formulas of profit that show the difference between total revenue and total cost. And we already know the formulas of total revenue, that is price multiply quantity. We also know the formulas of total cost. I'm gonna write over there. Normally, average total cost equal to total cost divided quantity. Then we are able to move that part over here. So total cost equal to average total cost multiply quantity. But for that part, we cannot focus on the total cost formula. We can look further the meaning of the total cost. Total cost divide into two, explicit and implicit cost. Explicit cost occur because of the economic activity, so it depends on the economic activity. It's like wages, electricity bill, and rents. So it depends on the economic activity. That means that they produced on the factory condition or production condition. What about the implicit cost? This is a little bit different. That cannot directly involve on the economic activity. Rather, it can focus on the opportunity cost concept. Okay, that shows the opportunity cost of resources owned by the producer. So total cost divided into two, explicit and implicit. Explicit includes economic activity. Implicit focus on the opportunity cost concept. Implicit cost is a little bit different, so let's look further on that concept. I said that focus on the opportunity cost concept by making some production or process. So let's think that we decide to open some factory. For opening that factory, we can give up some decisions. That give up decision show our implicit cost, okay? I'm gonna make example, then you can understand easily. Or look at that example. A person who opens her own business while she can work in another workplace, give up the income she can get from the other workplace. This income she gives up also implicit expenses. That means that, for example, I decide to open a new factory. For opening that factory, I give up my job. So I give up my gain. So that give up income show my implicit cost or expense. And profit formula also divided into two. I said total revenue minus total cost, but a little bit different. For example, if you are an accountant, you are looking to accounting profit. That is total revenue minus explicit cost. I said explicit cost depend on the economic activity. And one more profit formula, economic profit. That is total revenue minus explicit cost minus implicit cost. Okay. So economic profit include the effect of opportunity cost. Give up part. Okay, let's make example to understand more easily. You entered the 3D printing business. You produce medical instruments using 3D printer. Okay. For this, you quit your job with salary 6,000 Turkish lira. For opening that job, we quit our job. So this is explicit or implicit cost. It cannot depend on the economic activity. It depends on the opportunity cost. Because for opening that job, we give up our job. So this is implicit cost. You turn your shop from which you earn 4,000 Turkish lira monthly rental income into workplace. That means that for opening that place, we give up our rental income. Again, we give up something. So this is also implicit cost. Then you rent a 3D printers from 8,000 Turkish lira per month. That's related with economic activity. So this is explicit cost. You pay 1,000 Turkish lira per month for your raw material expenses. That is also economic activity event. So explicit cost, 1,000 Turkish lira. 12,000 Turkish lira per month to your 3 employees. Again, explicit cost. Okay. I'm going to give 12,000 Turkish lira to the employees. So this is wage expenses, and this is explicit cost. Printer rental, again explicit cost, 8,000. Raw material purchases, where is that? That one, 1,000. Give up wages, 6,000. Give up rent, 4,000. So first 3 of them is explicit. Then last 2 of them are implicit cost because it's related with opportunity cost. And let's assume that total revenue is 50,000 Turkish lira. This is total revenue. So for finding accounting profit, total revenue minus explicit cost. Explicit cost is 12,000 plus 8,000 plus 1,000. So this is 29,000 Turkish lira. What about the economic profit? We also look of the implicit cost part. So 10,000 more costs. So economic profit is 19,000. Okay. So if it's related with the economic activity, that is called explicit cost. What if related more overly with the give up part or opportunity cost part? This is implicit cost. Then I give the accounting profit formula and economic profit formula. Okay, I'm not include the long-term part or long-run part, but we are going to focus on the short-term or short-run part. The short run means less than 1 year. Long run means more than 1 year. Normally 1 to 5 years. In the short term, we use some factors of production. This is labor and capital. We are able to change the amount of labor, but in the short run, we cannot able to change the capital level. So this is constant. And for the assumption, in the short run, entry and exit prohibited. In the short run, we face with some costs. Some of them are related with economic activity. Some of them are not. If these costs cannot relate it with economic activity, this is called fixed costs or total fixed costs. That is without regarding the level of output. So it cannot depend on the production level. This is the example of 1 year contracted from rent. If you produce or not, you have to pay that rent. So this is not related with the level of production. These kinds of costs related with total fixed cost. So this is fixed. It cannot change by the level of output. And I said some costs depend on the economic activity or level of output. That is called variable costs, total variable costs, TVC. It related with the using the level of labor. If you use more labor, you can able to produce more output, but for that part, total variable cost become higher position. Okay. So let's come to our first formula. I give a formula for the total cost by using the average total cost. And I'm also able to use one more formula. Total fixed cost plus total variable cost. By using that formula, you are able to find all formulas. Nearly all. Okay, I'm gonna write it down over here. I use another color. I said total cost equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. This is the first one. Then I'm able to divide all parts into the quantity. Okay. Total cost divided quantity equal to total fixed cost divided quantity plus total variable cost divided quantity. We divide all parts into the quantity. For making that one, we can find the average. So when we divide total cost into the quantity, we find the average total cost. So total fixed cost divided quantity show average fixed cost plus for dividing total variable cost to the quantity, average variable cost. Okay. So for finding average total cost, we can use that one or that one. It's up to you. Okay. Okay, let's move. I said when we divide total fixed cost to the quantity, we find the average fixed cost. Okay, let's make an example. I said total fixed cost is a fixed cost. It cannot depend on the level of output. So for that question, when quantity is 0, total fixed cost is 1000. That means that can same in all row. Then average fixed cost, total fixed cost divided quantity, 1000 divided 0, undefined. 1000 divided 1, 1000. 1000 divided 2, it's going to like that. Then we can come to the total variable cost. I said total variable cost depend on the economic activity. And for producing more, we can use more labor that affect the cost of total variable costs. Because in the short run, I said labor is variable, capital is a fixed. That's why we are able to change the level of labor to increase or decrease in the output. Let's turn to the question that said one labor cost is 15 Turkish lira. So in zero output level, we cannot use any worker or labor, so there is no variable cost. For producing one, we can use 3 labor, 3 multiply 15. 15 comes from the question. So it's going to like that, 4 multiply 15, 5 multiply 15. The same mechanism, average variable cost, means that total variable cost divided quantity. Don't forget, this is quantity, not labor amount. So 0 divided 0, undefined. 45 divided 1, 60 divided 2, 75 divided 3. And one more formula, marginal cost. I said marginal means always additional. That means that when I change the quantity or the amount of output, how they can change the total variable cost. Or in the short run, I'm gonna write that one also. Change in total cost divided change in quantity. Why these two equations are equal? Because I said total cost equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Total fixed cost is a fixed. When I change that part, the same change occur in the total cost. That's why these changes give the same effect or same measurement. Okay, let's look that part. In zero level, there is no marginal cost. Marginal means additional. That's why no. Let's look at that part. Change in total variable cost 45. Output 1, so 45. Then look at that part. 15 to 1 and 15 to 1. Okay. Really easy. So I skip that part. Also skip that part, but please try to do yourself. Maybe we can look at that part. Just that part. I'm not gonna give that part also. Let's think that I delete that part. Still, I'm able to find total variable cost and total fixed cost. In zero level, total variable cost is always 0 because we cannot use any labor. So this is equal to 100. 100 plus 0 equal to 100. Okay, so it's going to like that. The same. I said in zero level, In zero level, total variable cost is 0. Then we are able to calculate the marginal cost. The change on the quantity is 1, so I'm able to look the changes of total variable cost. This is 10, 8, 6, 8, and 10. Total variable cost, average variable cost, total variable cost divided quantity, 0 divided 0, undefined, 10 divided 1, 18 divided 2, it's going to like that. The question gives the amount of total fixed cost, and that is fixed on all row, so 1000. To get summation of total variable cost and total fixed cost, we can find the total cost. 0 multiply 1000, 1000. 10 multiply 1000, 1010 is going to like that. Average fixed cost, total fixed cost divided quantity, undefined, 1000 divided 1, 1000 divided 2 is going to like that. And average total cost. Total cost divided quantity. 1000 divided 0, 1010 divided 1 is going to like that. Okay. Before coming to that part, I'm gonna drink a water. Sorry for that. Okay. That slides show the shape of the marginal cost, average total cost, and average variable cost, also average fixed cost. Let's look of these graphics. We see that the marginal cost go through to the minimum point of average variable cost and minimum point of the average total cost. One more thing. The difference between average total cost and average variable cost give the or determine the shape of the average fixed cost. These are the same. Okay. And these are the general shape of these costs graphics. Another thing, I think that's enough for us now. Also, we will see these are the same. The difference between average total cost and average variable cost start with greater portion, then become smaller number, converge to the 0. Okay. You are only responsible for the perfect competition firm. Let's look the features of perfect competition. The first feature is there are many buyers and sellers in the market. Neither of the buyers or sellers can influence the price. So there are many buyers and sellers in the market, so they cannot influence the price. They get the price from the market, the intersection point of the supply and demand curve. So that process is called price taker. Firms are price taker. And in perfect competition, each firm produces and sells an identical or homogeneous product. In perfect competition, firms can enter and exit easily into the market. Buyers and sellers know everything, so they have perfect information. These are the features of the perfect competition. I said in the perfect competition market, firms are the price taker. They cannot influence the price. So their share close to the 0. That's why when we look at the elasticities of that demand curve in perfect competition, they are perfectly elastic. So nobody can influence the price determined in the market. So everyone can accept that price. That's why the demand shape is like that. Perfectly elastic. So the price determined in the market, the intersection point of this demand and supply curve, that equilibrium price also determine the demand curve of the firm, not market. Okay. So demand curve is like that. Then let's look at the average revenue. How can we find the average? For divide to the quantity. Let's assume that for finding average revenue, that is total revenue divided quantity. What is the total revenue formula? Price multiply quantity. We can delete the quantity part, so average revenue equal to price. And what can we find on previous one? Market price or price equal to demand. In the first slide, demand equal to price. Now we find price equal to average revenue. These are the same. So demand equal to price equal to average revenue. Then marginal revenue part. That is change in total revenue divided change in quantity. In perfect competition, price is the same. So when we change the amount, we are able to find the marginal revenue. Let's assume that in the first condition, I get the laser. Price is 100. 8 units. Quantity 1 is 8. So total revenue 1 is 800. Oh, sorry. Then we cannot able to change the price. Price is the same. Again 100. This time quantity 9. So total revenue is 900. Then we are able to find the marginal revenue. 900 minus 800 divided, oh sorry, 9 minus 8. So this is 100. And what is the 100? That is the price. So marginal revenue equal to price. Okay. So we are able to say that demand equal to price equal to average revenue equal to marginal revenue. Let's look at that part. As long as marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, at that condition, we are keep produce it. But where is the profit maximizing level? Price equal to marginal cost. Or, I already said that, marginal cost equal to price equal to marginal revenue. So, marginal revenue equal to marginal cost give the profit maximizing level. These are the same. Because price equal to marginal revenue. Also, we see. So the key idea here, firm will produce as long as marginal revenue exceeds marginal cost. Okay, let's do it that example. But one more thing over here. I have to indicate that part. So this is a wrong question. But before started, what can we do over here? I said total fixed cost is a fix, so this is 10. And I know that when quantity is 0, total variable cost is 0. There is no marginal thing in the 0 level, so this is 0 also. And the question have to give the price. And the question said price is 15. I'm gonna show over here. Don't try to solve that question, just understand it. I have to give that part because to find other things. What can I say? As long as marginal revenue greater than marginal cost, we keep going. Let's check. That part is greater. Marginal revenue greater than marginal cost. But that part we can stop it. So the range between 4 and 5, this is the optimal choice to get profit maximizing. Because we cannot find, if we find marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, that is the perfect answer, but we cannot find that equality. So the range between 4 and 5 give the perfect profit level. So over here. Okay, let's come to the new part. Short run supply curve. What can I say? As long as marginal revenue greater than marginal cost, we keep produce it. But when marginal cost greater than marginal revenue, we can stop over here. So when marginal cost equal to, how can I say, average variable cost, that is the minimum point of the continuum of production. Maybe I can write over here. Let's check. Marginal cost curve, perfect contour. True, except when price is so low that pays a firm to shut down. Let's show the other slides for the when the firm shut down. If the market price become the less point of the, or I can show like that. When price greater than average total cost, or I'm not gonna show over here because I can show on the other slides, but let's try to understand that part. When market price become the less position of the minimum point of average variable cost, we can shut down. So the production levels start on the minimum point of average variable cost. That is called shutdown point, minimum point of average variable cost. Okay, over there, so we can start to produce it. So that line called short run supply curve. When market price came over here, that means that we can only cover our variable cost. When we become not to cover your variable cost, you have to shut your firm. I'm gonna show later. Or let's look at that definition. The lowest point on the average variable cost curve. When price fall below the minimum point on average variable cost, total revenue is insufficient to cover the variable cost. I said the same thing. And the firm will shut down and bear losses equal to the fixed cost. Okay. That is not really important for the exam, but try to understand. Just try to understand. But that is important. Previous parts also important. Okay, let's say market price is 50. So price is the fixed because firms are the price taker in the perfect competition. What can I say? In the zero level, total variable cost is 0, so this is 0. But before that, let's start with that one, 50. Price is 50. We cannot influence the price, so that is 50 in everywhere. So I said when the quantity is 0, total variable cost is 0. Then we are able to find that part. Total cost equal to total fixed cost plus variable cost. So 30, 50, 60 is going to like that. What is the average variable cost? Total variable cost divided quantity. So 0 divided 0, undefined. 30 divided 1. It's going to like that. 50 divided 2. Average total cost. Total cost divided quantity. 100 divided 0. Undefined. 130 divided 1. It's going to like that. And let's come to the marginal cost. Change in total variable cost divided change in quantity, or change in total cost divided change in quantity. Change in quantity part is always 0. So we are able to look change in total cost or change in total variable cost. So in the margin, when I say marginal, in 0 level, there is no marginal. What about that part? 30 divided 1, 20, 10. It's going to like that. Please do it yourself. Then total revenue part, price multiply quantity, 50 multiply 0, 50 multiply 1. It's going to like that. Then look at the profit. Total profit formula is total revenue minus total cost. 0 minus 100. 50 minus 130. It's going to like that. So at which point can we produce it? Let's look at. I said as long as marginal revenue greater than marginal cost, we keep going. And one more thing, at perfect competition, marginal revenue equal to price. So we can look at these two. Greater, 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 greater. And marginal revenue, when marginal revenue greater than marginal cost, cannot say that positive profit, as you see. But we can cover some costs, so we can continue to produce it. And equality. Then turn to that. I said the profit maximizing condition is marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, that part. So this is the answer. Okay. And profit is 120. Why don't we choose that part? Because we see at that part, marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, so continue to produce it. Okay, that is the example of the table solution. And also, you are responsible for the graph part. Let's come to that part. I said at the profit maximizing condition occur at the marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. And let's remind, I already gave that formula in previous slides. Average total cost equal to total cost divided quantity. Then total cost equal to, we can move that part over here, average total cost multiply quantity. We know the total cost formula also. We also know the total revenue formula, price multiply quantity, minus that part, average total cost multiply quantity. What is the common in that parentheses? Quantity. Let's get the parentheses of quantity. So profit formula is also price minus average total cost multiply quantity. Normally, I said total revenue minus total cost, but we can change to that equation. So profit formula is price minus average total cost multiply quantity. I said profit maximizing conditions, marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, and marginal revenue equal to price, so we can able to write in that sense. So by using that formula, if price greater than average total cost, we find profit is positive. If price equal to average total cost, the profit is 0. If average total cost greater than price, negative profit. Okay. Okay, how can we do these kind of examples? I said the price determined into the market, let's assume 15. So price is 15. And price equal to demand equal to average revenue equal to marginal revenue. This is the demand line. And demand line equal to price equal to average revenue equal to marginal revenue. How can we these kind of questions come like that? I wrote on the board in the lecture, but few of them take it, I think. But no problem. Okay. The first step, find the intersection point of marginal cost and marginal revenue. Where is that? Marginal cost line is the orange one, and marginal revenue is red one. So that point indicates the intersection point of marginal revenue and marginal cost. We can determine that point, then draw a direct line. The bottom part shows the quantity. Then we can select some intersection points to find average total cost and average variable cost. The intersection point of average total cost on that blue line give the average total cost. The intersection point of average variable cost show the average variable cost. Then we can able to calculate the profit for that one. Okay, so profit is 70. So what we see, when price is greater than the minimum point of average total cost, we get the positive profit. Another example. Okay, let's start. Price is 7. It comes from the market. This is the demand line. Then what is the first step? Find the marginal revenue of the intersection point of marginal revenue and marginal cost part, that one. Then draw the direct line. Below part show the quantity. Then find the intersection. What is the first step? Find the intersection point of blue line and average total cost. Also the same part, so that is equal to average total cost. Then find the average variable cost, that one. Then calculate the profit. And that part is called, that profit equal to 0. And that is called break even point. Okay? When price equal to minimum point of average total cost, we can find profit is 0, and that is called break even. And negative profit. Okay, price is 2. So that 2 is show the demand line. The intersection point of marginal revenue and marginal cost part is that one. So draw a direct line. The bottom part show the quantity, then find the intersection point of average total cost. That is average total cost. Intersection point of the blue line and average variable cost, that one. Then calculate the profit, negative profit. So the when price equal to the minimum point of average variable cost, this is shutdown point. When market price equal to the minimum point of average total cost, this is break even point, 0 profit. So we are able to write that things. When price equal to average total cost equal to average variable cost, profit positive, and we continue to produce it. When ATC greater than price, greater than average variable cost, that part, profit is negative, but we are still continue to produce it because we can cover some variable costs. And the last one, ABC equal to price, negative profit, and we can close our firms. We cannot cover fixed cost or variable cost. At that condition, we can close our firms. Now, what about that one? When average variable cost equal to the price, that is called shutdown point. At that point, some would say firms are indifferent to close it because they can cover the variable cost. I can show like that, sorry about it. Or equal to. Equal to is more true. Okay, let's make another example. Or I cannot. No, I cannot say it because I can solve on the classroom. But in your exam, I can give more numbers. I can show like that, for example. Okay, I give more numbers. So you need to solve with that mechanism to find a intersection point of marginal revenue and marginal cost, draw the blue line, then determine the intersection point of ATC and AVC. Okay, but if you don't understand it, you can send email to me. Okay. Then our last two topics. National income or GDP. Let's look at the GDP definition. GDP is the total market value of the country's output. It is the market value of all final goods and services produced within a given period of time by the factors of production located within a country. Okay, that include the total market value of the final goods and services within a given period of time. I said we can include the calculation of final goods and services. That is the ready to use or final to use. And one more thing, intermediate goods. Intermediate goods is a good that we can use intermediate goods for producing that final goods. For example, for produce that one, we can use a glass for produce that good. That glass to help to produce our final goods. So that is a really important thing to understand it. Or look at another example. For producing automobile, we can use the tires to produce the automobile. That tires is not a final good. They help to produce the automobile. That's why tires is a intermediate good, but automotive is a final good. Or let's think about the iPhone. iPhone is a final good. When we produce the iPhone, we can use chips. That chips try to help to produce iPhone. So that chips is not a final good, that is intermediate good. Okay? And we cannot count in intermediate goods in calculation in GDP because we already calculated. I'm not gonna look at that example. If you want, you can read it. What if we can count intermediate good in calculation of GDP? We can count twice. That's why that is called double counting error. How can we understand how much value can include in GDP to eliminate the intermediate goods valuation to cannot look at the double counting error? We can use the value added process. That is the difference between value of goods as they leave a stage of production and cost of the goods as they enter that stage. By looking by looking at the example, we can understand easily. Okay. Let's think that stages of production: wheat, flour, bread dough, and bread. The final goods is bread. The others, bread dough, flour, and wheat, which are the intermediate goods. What if we can get summation of these value sales of these goods? We find a number, 277, but that number cannot include the GDP. Because I said we can only get the sales value of the bread. So if you say 277 value can include the GDP, that is not true. That is double counting error. So answer is not 277. Rather, we can make value added process. Let's make it. The first one is come from the land, so there is no value sales. Let's look at the difference. 21. When we turn into the floor, what is the value sales differences? 27. Flour to the bread dough, 35. Bread total the bread is 42. Okay, let's get the summation of all these value added. I think that is equal to 125. Okay. And these are the equal. How much value can include the GDP? 125. So we get the final goods sales prices or get the value added. Okay. This is not the answer. This is the double counting error. It's like the same example, so I can skip that part. These are not really important, but let's look at it. GDP concern, this is the information about the GDP. New or current production. Old output is not counted in current GDP because when they produce it, their value already included in GDP. What if we count it? That is double counting error. Okay, if someone sells a used car to you, that transaction is not counted in GDP because no new production has taken place. Okay, the same thing. Okay. The same definition. I skipped that part to come to example. What about the GNP? Nearly the same definition, but that focus on the country citizens production. Okay. GDP, look at the value on the borders in a country, but GDP focus on the nationality. But we can focus on the GDP. Okay. That is the calculation of GDP, inflation, and growth examples. How can we do it, that part? I'm not going to give the details about the nominal GDP and real GDP. If you don't understand it, you can open the slides to get more information. Okay. Let's look at that example, and that is our last example. Let's consider a simple economy that produces three types of goods or services. Two final goods and one intermediate good. These are the goods or services produced: pizza, final good; latte, final good; cheese for pizza, intermediate good. So cheese used for the production of pizza. And I said intermediate goods are not counted in the calculation of GDP. So before start the question, we can delete that part because that already include the value of the pizza. Okay, so there's a two goods, pizza and latte. What is the question? Calculate the nominal GDP for 3 years, real GDP for 3 years, growth rate, and by using GDP deflator, calculate the inflation for the 2 years. I said intermediate goods are not counted in the country's GDP, so we can delete the cheese row. So we have a 2 goods and 3 years. In nominal GDP, we take the year asked for the price and quantity. What year I asked to us? Let's start that one. The question asked 2021. We have a 2 goods. We calculate the value of the each goods. For the value calculation is easy. Price multiply quantity. Price multiply quantity for pizza, price multiply quantity for the latte. And we get the year of what they asked to us. So 2021 for price and quantity. Okay. So 10 multiply 400 to multiply 1000. 2022, 11 multiply 50, 2.5 multiply 100 and 1100. And we get the summation of each goods. And the last year, 12 multiply 600 plus 3 multiply 1200. Okay? It's easy to make it for the nominal GDP. But there's a problem for the nominal GDP that include the price effect. How can we eliminate the price effect? By making the real GDP. In real GDP, we are fixing the price to eliminate the price effect. How can we understand which year is the fixing price? They indicate in the question by looking the base year. The base year is 2021. That means that we are fixing the price. That one, 2021. Okay. The same mechanism with nominal GDP, but for the quantity. For getting the asking year for the quantity, 2021, but for the price, we get the base year price, 2021 and 2021. Maybe you said that this is the same with the nominal GDP 2021. Yes, that's true. Because in the base year, nominal equal to real GDP. Okay. So 10 multiply 400 plus 2 multiply 1000. What about that part? 2022. This time, 10 multiply asking here 500 plus 2 multiply 1100. Okay. Please look at that part. For the price, always we are fixing the base year price. But for the quantity, what year asked to us? Tamam. I think that's okay. And let's look at the 2023. For the price, we get the base year price, 2021 for the each goods. And for the quantity, we get the what year they asked to us, 2023 and 2023. So 10 multiply 600 to multiply 1200. And one more thing. What is the growth rate for the 2022? In the growth rate, we use the real GDP and we use the percentage change formula. For example, I asked the 2022 percentage change formula, the same. What year they asked to us? Real GDP 2022 minus 1 year earlier. 2021 divided 1 year earlier. Multiply hundreds. Okay. What about the 1 year later, 2023 growth rate? Real GDP 2023 minus 1 year earlier divided 1 year earlier, multiply 100. Okay. And the last question. Inflation by using the GDP deflator. In GDP deflator, we use a formula, nominal divided real multiply 100. So let's get to these nominal and real GDP. For finding deflator 2022, I said nominal divided real for that year multiply 100. So 6,000 divided 600 multiply 100. That is equal to 100. And one more thing, in the base year, that is the 2021, always deflator equal to 100 because nominal equal to real. What about the 2022? We can divide nominal to real for the year of 2022, multiply 100. So 8,250 divided 7,200 multiply 100. So these are the GDP deflator. And by using the GDP deflator, we can find the inflation. Again, the same formula, percentage change formula. GDP deflator 2022 minus 1 year earlier divided 1 year earlier multiply 100. Okay. The same, I'm not gonna solve it. You're able to solve it. So these are the preparation video for the final exams. Good luck and see you on the exam. Bye-bye.